I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I know your advice to the president is private, but this is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. Now, what happens if we come home and end the blockade to the world? We need some hard answers and some straight talk. What will happen, Pete? General, in the war between Russia and Ukraine, who do we want to win?
Sir, I want Ukraine to win.
Is Russia America's friend?
I'm sorry, sir, I couldn't quite hear your question.
Is Russia America's friend?
I think that depends on your definition of friend. I think it's a complicated relationship. But no, I don't think they're our friends.
Thank you. If we could cut off Russia's cash flow, which depends substantially on its sale of oil, would that help Ukraine win?
So I think militarily, anytime you can restrict resources and cash flows against an adversary,
General, I
that's
have
a good
so
thing.
much respect for you.
Yes, sir.
But I have so little time.
Yes, sir. I'll try to be
Just
briefer.
Give me succinct answers.
Yes, sir. It would assist a.
Would help, wouldn't
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. If we could stop people, entities, and countries from buying Russia's oil, that would help cut off its cash flow, wouldn't it?
Yes, sir.
We have a bill to do that, as I'm sure you're aware. We have the votes today to pass it overwhelmingly. I also have enormous respect and admiration for our majority leader, Senator Thune. But I hope everybody on this panel will today contact Senator Thune and ask him to bring that bill to the floor. We should vote on it at a minimum of next week. Some of my colleagues, General, want America to just stop in Iran. End the blockade, bring all of our warriors home. What would be the consequences of that, in your estimation?
Sir, I think termination criteria is always a political decision. However, I assess that Iran will continue to be a challenge moving forward. So we have to be thoughtful
Will
about
they
that.
put tolls on the strait?
I don't know, sir. That's a decision that's a hypothetical and will depend on what happens
It's not
in the future.
hypothetical. We've got a blockade to stop them.
We do, sir. That's putting
General, I want you
economic
to look me
pressure
in
on
the eye.
Iran.
I'm not asking you I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I know your advice to the president is private, but this is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. Now, what happens if we come home and end the blockade to the world?
Sir, Iran has the potential to continue to be a threat, and we will need to prepare military
Will they
options to
toll
do
the
that.
strait?
Sir, that's a hypothetical question, and I don't know the answer to that.
Oh, it's not hypothetical. We come home. It's not going to be hypothetical. You know that, General, and I do too. And I appreciate your discretion, but we're down to it. We need some hard answers and some straight talk. What'll happen?
Kennedy spends the first half of this exchange doing something most senators struggle to do. He refuses to accept vague hypotheticals when the question is about real-world consequences. He asks General Caine directly, what happens if the United States withdraws and ends the naval blockade on Iran? Caine sidesteps, calling it a political decision and offering a broad, non-committal answer that Iran would remain a challenge. A statement so vague it could mean almost anything. But Kennedy doesn't let it go. He tightens the question. Would Iran start placing tolls on the strait? Once again, Caine falls back on hypotheticals. And that's where Kennedy shifts. Calm, controlled, and precise, he points out the reality being avoided. The moment the US withdraws, this is no longer hypothetical. It becomes immediate. The exchange repeats itself nearly word for word, but this time the urgency is unmistakable. Kennedy underscores the stakes, calling them as serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke. Then he makes a decisive move. He stops questioning the general and turns directly to the Secretary of Defense.
Senator, I would agree with the chairman, but the likely outcome is they would try to impose their will on the waterways in ways that the world would not like. Call it a toll, call it a fee, call it an exchange, call it control. They would do something that they would try to hold it at issue. Yes, sir.
Would they try to commence development again of a nuclear warhead?
Part of the reason President Trump had to have the courage to do what he did after Midnight Hammer is that they didn't give up their ambitions even though their nuclear sites had been obliterated. So this is a regime hell-bent on nuclear ambitions, and President Trump's been willing to go after it.
We need straight answers. Do we have the ability to destroy whatever is underneath Pickaxe Mountain?
Senator, a lot of our capabilities are classified, but if anybody in the world can reach anything on God's green earth, it's the United States military, the most powerful military in the world. It's all about options and trade-offs.
All right. I'm going to take a little extra time because others got it, Madam Chair. I won't abuse it. Secretary, are shrimpers farmers?
Absolutely, yes. They're farmers of the sea.
Are oyster harvesters farmers?
Yes. In this USDA, yes.
Are they having to compete with other countries who grow oysters and shrimp in a ditch and shoot them full of antibiotics?
100% yes.
And if you eat too much of that foreign shrimp and oysters, you'll grow an extra ear, won't you?
I'm not sure about that, but I know it is not good. And I also know we import 90% of our shrimp.
The shrimp and the oysters from abroad?
Well, it goes much larger than that. Why are we importing so much from abroad, which goes to the president's trade agenda?
I'm in big trouble.
Yes, you are.
Guys, look, we need straight answers now. We're down to it.
That's when the answer Kennedy had been pressing for finally comes out. Not from Caine, but from the secretary. And it's not reassuring. When asked plainly what would happen if the U.S. withdraws, the response is clear. Iran would likely attempt to reassert control over the waterway, no matter what term is used, a toll, a fee, or something else. But Kennedy doesn't stop there. He pivots to the nuclear question and gets an even more direct admission. The sites that were previously described as obliterated months earlier are brought back into focus, yet the same regime remains. And by the secretary's own words, it is still determined to pursue nuclear ambitions. This isn't a contradiction Kennedy had to uncover through speculation. It came straight from the testimony itself, stated back to back in the same explanation used to justify continued funding. In the end, once Kennedy finally gets clear answers, they tell a very different story from the claims of victory that had been presented just